Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Tony Viz. Sorry if my voice sounds a uh, little out of sorts today. I was at the Monday Night Raw show in Hartford Live last night, and I was just gonna, this is gonna be a little different from what I usually do. I'm just gonna give my live thoughts on on the show. I had a great, I had a great time there. It was a great show. Hot crowd all night. I mean, there was really a lot of good stuff on the show. I mean, overall, seeing it live, I thought made it a lot more enjoyable than seeing it on TV would have been. I don't know. I haven't seen. I don't know if I'll get to see the TV version, but being there live, it was really cool. But yeah. The only thing was that I was sitting far back, and I was sitting a little far back from the ring. I couldn't see it too well. Unfortunately, there was the Titantron. I was sitting right across from that, so I got to see almost everything on there. I'd watched most of the show on the Tron, so I kind of felt like I was in a movie theater more often. But it was still a lot of fun being there live, just to see the experience and everything. Before I get into what happened on the show, I mean, what they do a little, like what they do when the show's like in commercial or what have you, I mean, like when the guy comes to the ring and they go to a commercial, and like instead of the guy's music playing and stuff like that, they dim the light, they dim the lights for the backstage segments and for the commercials, but what they show on the Tron is always it was the same. That's my only complaint about it. It was the same ads. It was like ads for the WrestleMania 28 DVD set. Um, the new Rock disc set that came out, which looked kind of cool. I gotta say, that was really I don't know if I'll pick it up, but that was nice to see. I've been a big Rock fan. That's where the name of the tone came from. But and they show the Clash of the Champions disc. They had a trailer for that. The digitally remastered No Holds Barred with Zeus. I don't think I'll be getting that. But so what happens is like what they do, like I say, when a guy comes to the ring, for example, there was like Kofi Kingston and Big Show was a match in the steel cage, and I gotta tell you, seeing the steel cage lower down from the arena or lower down from the ceiling live was a really cool visual. It was really, it was like it was cool to see that live, and this was actually the first Raw I'd been to in like over 15 years. I mean, the last Raw I went to was in White Plains at the Westchester County Center, and it wasn't, it was like maybe like 93, 94. I think it was 93. So I mean, it was the production value. There were no Trons or anything then. So I mean, so this was the first Raw I'd been to, and with this huge stage. But I gotta say, in the arena, it looked, it felt, a lot, not quite as big as it does on TV. On TV, it looks freaking enormous. But it's like, but in the arena, it actually looked a little bit, it didn't look quite as large live as it did as it would, when you watch it on the, when you watch it at home on the show on the TV or whatever. But it was good. I had a good time. I really enjoyed the show. So let's see what happened was first match of the show. And by the way, before I get into it, the crowd that was really hot crowd. I mean, they were into pretty much everything that was going on there. So what happened? Let's see, like I said, they were really into everything, just about. So I guess we'll get on to it. The first match of the show was a dark match. It was Alex Riley and Drew McIntyre. This was good. This was a good match. Alex Riley's music hit. He got a big pop being the first, being the first guy to come out. So he came out, and then Drew McIntyre came out. I saw his Tron, I popped for that. I mean, I know Drew has been a jobber for the last 2 years, but I'm a fan of his. I think his music is cool, and I think he should be used better. But anyway, this was a very good back and forth match. Alex Riley got the jackknife roll up and got the 3 count. I was hoping Drew would win, but hey, what are you gonna say? At least it was a good match. Then Justin Roberts comes out and introduces the Superstars announce team. Scott Stanford and Josh Matthews. They come out, And then we get to the Superstars taping. So the first match there was Zack Ryder and Michael McGillicuddy. I don't know what, I mean, this was really good. I mean, these guys worked their asses off here. This was really good stuff. A lot of back and forth action. I mean, Michael McGillicuddy, of course, Joe Hennig, son of Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. Both guys are really great. Both guys are really good workers. I've seen McGillicuddy have matches with Tyson Kidd on NXT. Ryder was he was still freaking old, man. The fans were cheering for him, and I was even doing the LI bit, because I don't, it's like I say, Ryder got himself over so bad, he got himself super over, and then it's like, I've ranted about how WWE just cut his nuts out from under, cut his nuts off and shit like that. But it was a good match. It was a good back and forth match. Zack Ryder went over. He got the Rough Rider. He went for it first go around. McGillicuddy ducked the counter to rope or what have you. And then the second go around, Rough Rider take two, as I put it, and then 1, 2, 3, Ryder won the match. Woo 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 woo. Zack Ryder stole who currently, I think. I'm a Stooge fan. But anyways, good match. I mean, like I say, these guys are really good. It's like guys like this, guys who you see on Superstars and NXT, who were regulars on that show, who should be more prominent in a more prominent role than they are now. Then the next match on the second match of the two Superstars matches was the Usos versus Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. And I gotta say, before I get into anything else, the pyro in that, hearing the pyro in person was freaking. I thought my ears were gonna burst. Because it was like, because the Usos come out through the Secret Towel, and hey, I'll say Uso, and I was like, ah. So a lot of the pyro was fucking noisy. So it was a good back and forth match. Titus O'Neil and Darren Young doing the million dollar, which I find to be kind of amusing. And so it was a good back and forth match. Titus O'Neil, Darren Young win with whatever the double team finisher is. I wasn't really looking at everything, but it was good stuff. So that was your Superstars portion of the taping. Then they had the Raw, and then we got into Raw. It started out, of course, with Johnny Ace coming out, and before he can do the usual, "My name is John Laurinaitis, no chance." Vince comes out, the place goes bonkers, and it's just like, wow, So then, they just have the whole back and forth about, whether or not Johnny Ace will still be the GM after the show, or whether Vince will say, "You're fired." They talk about him. Vince was saying that Johnny Ace was the guy who signed Brock Lesnar and cost him 2 lawsuits. And they mentioned something about he was the businessman who hired the wrong one-legged wrestler, which is actually a true story. Tenacious D, Zach Gowen, they had signed back in like 2003 or what have you, and I've heard that story that they had signed the wrong. They signed the wrong. They had looked. They contacted the wrong guy or what have you. So and then I think just as he was about to give Johnny Ace say his famous 2 words, Big Show came out, and like I said, I couldn't really hear everything they were saying. They had a back and forth. I believe Big Show came out and said, or did he come out? Hell, I don't even remember what the hell happened. But no, Sheamus came out, and he was just pretty much saying, that Johnny Ace was the worst general manager ever, and he says that he should just kick Johnny out on his arse, and he says that Laurinaitis says Sheamus doesn't respect the locker room, and he'll find an opponent to make Sheamus regret what he was saying. And Vince said it better be an impressive opponent for Sheamus, an impressive match, and if it's not, you're fired. So then, And then, yeah, so then Johnny Ace walks out or what have you, and then Vince gets on the people power scooter, and he scooted, and he wheels himself up the ramp to the stage, and then after he's like going, he's spinning around and saying and everything, and then he just pushes it off, the stage, and that was, and the thing was there the rest of the night, I think. So then on the Tron they showed the Khali Alberto Del Rio match from SmackDown. Because Alberto Del Rio actually got a legit concussion, so he'll be out and he won't be challenging Sheamus at No Way Out for the world title. So they were in the storyline. They were saying that it was Khali that caused the concussion. So then Sheamus was still in the ring after everything had happened, and during the commercial, like I said, the guy, Sheamus music was playing. Then they went to commercial, and then they had all the ads and stuff. When the guy's music plays, they go to commercial. They shut the lights off so you can watch a Tron, and they had all these ads for all the DVDs, what have you. And then when they get back to the show, Sheamus' music or Kofi Kingston's or whoever was in the ring, hit again. So then Sheamus was still in the ring waiting for his opponent, and it was Tenzai. It was actually a pretty good back and forth match. It was longer than I expected. I expected it to be just a quick brogue kick 1, 2, 3, but no, it was good. It was good for what it was. I don't know why they re-signed Albert Tenzai. Because they really haven't done anything with him. And of course, Sheamus actually eventually got the brogue kick and the 3 count. He won the match, and then afterwards, Tenzai just beat the crap out of his manager or whatever, Sakamoto. He just threw him into the face first in the announce table, and he gave him the claw, they get that. I don't even know why the hell they brought this Sakamoto dude in. It's like he doesn't really do anything. He never spoke nothing. It's like, it's like I don't know what the hell they're doing there. So anyway, then they go backstage to Vince, Johnny Ace, and Teddy Long in the office or whatever, and Vince says, Tenzai losing is strike 1, and then Vince wants to know who'll face Sheamus on Sunday. And then Vicky Guerrero comes in the office and says that there's 2 former world champs on the roster right now, Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler, and they could face Sheamus in a triple threat match. And then Vince wants to know, asks Big Johnny if he has a better idea. Johnny says he thinks that's a great idea, but seeing that the chairman of the board is there, he wants to hear what Teddy Long has to say. And Teddy mentions that there are 4 former world champions at the show: Swagger, Ziggler, Khali, and Christian. So Teddy Long says it's going to be those 4 in a 4-way elimination match, which I like the elimination because the 1 pins, the 1 fall thing is really, I don't go for that. So if Ziggler, Swagger, Khali, and Christian in a 4-way elimination match. Winner challenges Sheamus and No Way Out for the world title. Vince loves the idea, and Johnny said he was thinking the same thing. And then he wants to give Vince a fist pump, and then he was like, a fist pump? You've got small hands. Okay, so whatever. Okay, and then the whole thing with Tenzai beating the crap out of Sakamoto happened afterwards. So then that happened and all that shit. Then we see the 1000th. They gave us a lot of the top favorite moments of Raw. Coming with the 1000th episode. It was Seth Green, who I'm a big Family Guy fan, so I actually enjoyed this one. It was when he was the guest host on Raw. Actually, a bit of trivia. I believe when they started the guest host concept, he was the 3rd one that they had. So anyway, then R-Truth is backstage. I don't know if this might be. I'm not sure if this was pre-taped or what, because I know R-Truth is out with he's legit injured too. He's got a broken foot. But he's backstage with Matt Striker is up there, who's interviewing him, and he asks, he talks about the attack that Big Show gave him. Big Show attacking Truth a couple of weeks back. Mentioned, he asked Truth how he's doing, and then he he says that he's okay, but little Jimmy is all traumatized and shit. I mean, it's hard to hear a lot of what they're saying live in the building. with the fans going nuts and stuff, it gets noisy in there. So it's hard to hear every word that they're saying. But so then Truth was pretty much saying, it's like, at No Way Out, Big Show's going to lose to Cena, and Cena steps, and then Big Show's going to find out before he can say anything. Boom! Big Show just comes up, his fist just comes up on the side of the screen, and he knocks Truth cold. No, actually, that wasn't bad. I wasn't bad. I didn't see the Big Show coming out and knock him, bang, boom. I didn't see that coming. So, but like I say, the guy's got a broken, Killings has, our Truth Ron Killings has a broken foot. So I don't know if that was pre-taped or what. Because I know a lot of those backstage segments are pre-taped, but I don't know how far in advance they are. Then we get to a mixed tag match, basically comedy. It was Santino Marella and Divas champion Layla versus Ricardo Rodriguez and Beth Phoenix. It was a basic comedy match with Santino and Ricardo. Ricardo bumped into the ring post. I didn't find it funny. I was just like, bruh. So, not much to it. I think there were a few fans actually headed to the bathroom and concession stands. And now when the crowd was dead, I think it was, I'm saying, I was like, yeah, hey, let's hear, you hear those crickets chirping? So anyway, so then Beth glam slams Layla, gets the pin, and that's it. And then afterwards, Ricardo's still all out of his feet or whatever. He realizes that he's won. He's taunting Santino, and Ricardo actually wrestled in his tux. Well, he took the bow tie and jacket off. But then afterwards, when Santino was being taunted by Ricardo, Santino pulled Ricardo's suit shirt off, and underneath, Ricardo had on a purple Justin Bieber T-shirt. And then Ricardo just ran out of the ring like, I don't know. It didn't work for me, But it's, I'm not really into the Santino comedy bit. But, Ricardo's good, though, I got to say. But, I don't know. Justin Bieber, I'm forget it. So anyway, then David Otunga's comes into Vince's office. He's pretty much sucking up to Vince. And he says that, he mentions what a great job Johnny Ace is doing, and he's saying that as a Harvard-educated lawyer, he'd be a good replacement should Johnny Ace get the boot. So then Vince says he doesn't like the way that David Otunga puckers up to him, or the fact that he's a lawyer. He doesn't like lawyers and shit like that. I think they did a recurring gag about that throughout the night too. Like Vince was saying he doesn't like people sucking up to him and this and that. But it's like, reality backstage is, I don't know if it's a reality or what have you, but I know there's been a history of, it's like, you got pretty much kiss his ass to be employed there or whatever. So then Kofi Kingston comes in and he tells Johnny, I think Johnny came in there at some point, and he said that he wanted to face Big Show tonight. And Johnny was saying that R-Truth isn't doing too great, being knocked out by Big Show. And Kofi says that Big Show took his partner out. So he wants to face Big Show tonight, and if Johnny Ace won't make it happen, he'll make it happen himself. So then Johnny says, "Okay, you want it, you got it." And I called it because the cage was right above the ring. So and he said, "The one you got it, it's going to be Kofi versus Big Show in the cage." So then we come, then they go to the commercial. Then we come back. Daniel Bryan comes out, and and the huge yes chants for Daniel Bryan. This was like really, the fans were really into him too. And then he cuts a promo saying that about himself, Kane, and CM Punk. One of them is not like the others, and he was saying that he's nothing like Kane or CM Punk. He was saying that they both have the same weakness, and that's the distraction, the 95-pound distraction named AJ. And then he said, it's like for Punk, it's jealousy because Daniel Bryan proved that he's a better wrestler than Punk when he made him tap out, and Punk is trying to get with his ex-girlfriend to make him jealous. And then he says, Kane thinks that getting to second base with a woman is looking in his eyes when they look in his eyes and they don't puke. So then he's saying that both Punk and Kane are obsessed with AJ. But the reality is, it's like she's still in love with Brian. He says, "Oh, how can you blame her?" And he says, "Once you go, Brian, there's no point trying." That was pretty funny, I gotta say. So then, but he says he's not interested in AJ. He says he's interested in, all he's interested in right now is the WWE Championship. And then he does very quick, Q&A. Will I emerge as new WWE champion? Yes. So then we go to actually as the segment continues, Punk comes out and he says, he says he's not interested in AJ. They talk back and forth about her a lot. He says AJ's cool or what have you. And he was saying that they both have Punk. I think he was saying, I guess Punk was saying that he and AJ have something in common, and that's Daniel Bryan. Punk says that AJ is way out of Daniel Bryan's league, outside the ring, and inside the ring, Bryan's nowhere near Punk's league. And he says, Punk says that AJ's a little crazy, but he digs crazy chicks. And then a crazy chicks chant broke out, started in the building. So then Punk says that there's one thing he digs more, and that one thing he digs more than the crazy chicks, and that's the WWE Championship. So then you're saying over the last few months they've beaten each other. Kane beaten both of them. Kane has beaten both, and then it comes down to on Sunday everything is on the line, and then either he beats the deranged out of his mind freak, Punk saying he'll retain the title, he'll beat the deranged out of his mind freak, or he'll beat Kane. So either way he's walking out as champion and no way out. And Bryan's like no, and then Bryan says that then Bryan says Punk has changed. He called himself the voice of the voiceless. But now he panders to the fans, and everything. He's saying, the fans are voiceless because they have nothing smart to say. And then he says, people love to yell at Big Show as a sellout. And he calls Punk the biggest sellout in the company. And then Punk says that he, coming from the superstar who's got yes, yes, yes on his T-shirt. And then Punk says, it's like when almost a year ago on last June, when he sat down on the stage and cut that great promo, he said, people have come up to him and said that was one of the best moments on Raw, and he said Punk says that people who say the most ridiculous, like people who said that to him didn't like him when he started there, but now they do, whatever. He's saying he still doesn't like them or whatever. Nothing's changed. He's still the same guy, and he was saying Punk achieved his goals on his own terms. And he said he hasn't compromised himself, but he can't say the same thing about Daniel Bryan. So then, and Punk was saying, since breaking the glass ceiling, Danielson has kind of, gotten swell-headed and full of himself and everything. And like Punk says that WWE is, he calls Daniel Bryan a self-absorbed, obnoxious, goat-faced moron. So and then a goat-faced chant breaks out. And it's like whether Danielson likes it or not, Mr. Goatface will get a wake-up call on Sunday when ironically Punk puts him to sleep. Then Kane's pyro hits off, and my God, is that thing a loud person? He comes out and he reminds both of them who he is, and he was saying that over the years, he mentioned that he set JR on fire, electrocuted Shane's you-know-whats, and Tombstone the Priest, and blah, 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 and all those segments were really awful. Then he mentions that his pipe bombs are actual pipe bombs, and he'll walk out of No Way Out champ. So then AJ comes out, and she tells everyone, to quit bickering with each other. She tells Kane, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, in the arena. I'm just, right there. Just went through the results of the show, but she says that regardless of what they're saying, she looked into Kane's eyes last week and said that deep down, in his tortured soul, he has a heart. And then Punk says, "Oh, you gotta love crazy chicks." And then she tells Daniel Bryan that you never really truly get over your first love, and she knows that she hasn't. And then she smiles at Punk, and Punk goes back, and she says that he's pretty much the coolest guy she's ever known in her life. And then Daniel asks, what the point of this is. And AJ says that the point is, she knows that no way out, the best man will win. So then John Laurinaitis appears on the Titantron, and he tells Kane and Daniel Bryan to put their differences aside tonight because they're going to be in a tag team match against CM Punk and AJ. And that was that segment. Not bad, I thought it was good stuff. Punk and Bryan are great promos. Even Kane wasn't bad either on the mic here. AJ, I couldn't really understand what she was saying. I couldn't really understand everything she was saying, because like I say, you're in the arena with the fans, and they're getting all, it's all noisy in there, and sometimes it's hard to hear what the performers are saying. But that was pretty much it. I thought it was alright too. I thought it was a good segment. So then we get to the Fatal 4-Way elimination match: Christian, Khali, Swagger, Ziggler. Pretty obvious who was going to come out winning here. Ziggler, of course, came out victorious. He's going to be challenging Sheamus and more than likely lose. He fought Sheamus on SmackDown a couple weeks ago and lost. So what happens is, all three of them, pile up on Khali, and they pin him. He's eliminated. Then, Swagger, Christian, and Ziggler, there was a lot of back and forth stuff and this and that. And then Christian eventually, I believe he hit the kill switch on Swagger, and then Dolph snuck in and got the pin on Swagger, so he was eliminated. And then Vicky was like all pissed, was like, "Where's the partner there, whatever, and this and that." And then we came down to Christian and Ziggler. They had some good stuff, but that was a good back and forth match. Good back and forth part of the match with those two. Ziggler hit the Famouser, Christian kicked out. Dolph trapped the zigzag. Christian turned it into a reverse DDT. Then Christian goes up for the frog splash, but he didn't hit it. Then Christian, Ziggler was going up the turnbuckle trying to stop him. Christian punched him. They come off the turnbuckle. Then he finally comes off the turnbuckle. Ziggler moves on the way, and then eventually Ziggler gets the zigzag 3 count. So Ziggler will be challenging Sheamus at No Way Out for the world title. It was a good match. There was a "This is awesome" chant where I was, and a few guys who were sitting behind me were chanting "This is awesome." It was a good match, but it's like I said, it was never, it's like, the match, it was good, but it's like, it's like you knew Dolph was going to win because, Khali, Swagger is, he's on jobber level, and Christian is the Intercontinental Champion and a babyface. So, you knew right away that it was going to be Dolph winning that. So then afterward, Ziggler backs up the ramp, and Sheamus shows up on the stage, and they just have a stare down, and Sheamus holds the belt up. And then we go to Natalya backstage, and she's talking about, it was great, the match, the Bret Vince match at WrestleMania, having the whole family there, and this and that. And she asked if the whole Hart family can be together again, and this and that. Vince asked, if we could talk about it later, and then this was like one of the worst things I saw. Thank God I wasn't in the arena. The Funkadactyl, Funkettes, whatever the fuck you want to call them, come in. And they asked Vince to override Johnny's ruling about banning Brodus from Raw. Vince says that he doesn't think so. And my God, Naomi and Cameron, please do not let them ever speak again. They were like, "Oh, me and Naomi thought you were the coolest cat around," or whatever the fuck they said. I don't know. And then and then Vince does "Somebody call my mama," and then then Vince and oh my God, we did the whole Brodus stick. The genetic jackhammersaurus or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was stupid. Then Zack Ryder comes by, and he's got this like jaw dropping, and just Vince throws out a woo woo woo, and then Ryder's like, stupid segment. Time for the Ryback squash. So this time they had Ryback come out first instead of having the other two jobbers in the ring doing the promo before he comes out. This time they came out second, but their names were Willard Fillmore and Rutherford Hayes. Okay, so okay, I didn't even catch those names in the live. I'm just reading that. I'm just looking out of there. But of course, Ryback squashed them both. Same thing, marching doubles, muscle buster, Samoan drop, whatever you want to call it. 3 count at the end. Then we get Kofi Kingston Big Show was up next. You know, they were lowering the cage. Like I said, that was cool to see live. You know, seeing a cage being lowered. You know, it was cool to see how they do in person. You know, it's like it comes up to the it lowers down to the turnbuckles, and then they have to, you know, they had the crew guys, you know, lowering it the rest of the way. So then we come back from commercial, and then they show Vince and Hornswoggle watching SmackDown, where Hornswoggle was dressed up as Jim Ross. Well, that god awful segment. And then Vince has a few Hornswoggle tips, and then Vince takes the Hornswoggle's got JR's hat on, and then Vince takes it, he puts the hat on, and he mocks JR again. You know, I mean, and then he tells Hornswoggle to split. You know, but I mean, I was like, he was, you know, the way he was, Vince was just like, you know, mocking JR again, like he always does. I'm like, you know, about the illness that he got, you know. And here's what I gotta say, you know, it's like they had the Be a Star campaign ads, you know, it's like, oh yeah, no one likes a bully, that doesn't match or anything, that's something, this and that. Don't be bullied, be a star. And I gotta say, you know, because Vince is, you know, being the kind of person he is, you know, the Be a Star thing is so bogus. You know, it's like they're telling people, he was like, yeah, show tolerance and respect. You know, Vince never does. He's bullied people. I mean, he's had freaking JBL, who's tied people up in the freaking shower, nude or whatever. And then it's like, you know, it's like he bullied everybody. And it's like, you know, and you know, it's like he bullied Joey Styles, and Joey Styles, oh my God, he punched him in the eye. Which when I heard about that, I was like, all right, Joey, good for you, man. So, you know, and then it's like, you know, I've heard some stories about how, you know, it's just like, you know, it's like some guys, like I think Cena, you know, it's like you know, he never drank or anything, and then it's like, you know, the whole initiation stupid thing where it's like you're in the hotel and they saw you walking by the bar, they were surrounding, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna have a drink, man, you know, this and that. So it's like the whole Be a Star thing is so fucking bogus. When they have guys, you know, when they have Vince, who runs the goddamn company, is a fucking bully, and just loves to publicly really, you know, ridicule anyone and anyone he can in front of the whole goddamn roster, and it's just so fucking stupid. That Be a Star thing, you know, it's like if Vince wasn't such a fucking bully himself, I'd buy into this Be a Star campaign. But he is a fucking bully, and he's got a goddamn double standard, and he is just a piece of shit. You know, it's like, you know, and freaking, you know. Yeah, it's like at least his bully man JBL or freaking Bob Holly or whatever aren't there to make it even more ridiculous. But you know, having Vince and Stephanie or whatever saying, you know, it's like, oh yeah, being a bully, this and that, you know, it's like yeah, show tolerance and respect. Yeah, the McMahons don't. Yeah, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying bullying is cool or everything, but you know, I mean, you know, it's like there's better ways to say it than to have someone who's a bully king. Have this whole Be a Star campaign. It's just so goddamn hypocritical. So then we go to so then back to the Cena or Vince segment. Cena comes in and says that, you know, Laurinaitis is awful, and the sooner he's out of the job, the better. Vince says that he appreciates John's management advisement, but he said that he lost to The Rock at WrestleMania, so. Yeah, and then Cena says, I was like, oh, all of a sudden now winning and losing at WrestleMania actually is an issue here. So, you know, and then Cena mentions that Vince has lost to Hogan, Brett, Shawn Michaels, his son Shane, and you know, and this and that. You know, and then you know, Vince says that, you know, it's like this. He tells Cena not to run out and assist Kofi or whatever. Cena says he spoke with Kofi earlier or whatever. He said Kofi will handle business himself. But Cena reminds Vince that he says that, you know, Donald Trump stole Vince's "You're fired" line. Whatever. Then David Otunga comes back in, still wants to tie on, still sucking up to Vince and stuff, and he was, you know, saying, you know, he doesn't want people to kiss other people behind. So we all know that's not true. And then he turns and says. He said, no offense. And we see William Regal sitting there since he was the first inductee into the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. So then they go to the Tron, and the No Way Out YouTube pre-match will be Brodus Clay squashing David Otunga. So then we get Kofi Kingston and the Big Show in the cage. Kofi just got killed here pretty much for the most part. You know, I mean, he jumped on the cage, he jumped on the wall of the cage, he climbed out, or he tried to climb out. Big Show got him down, and eventually, you know, he hit the Trouble Paradise on Big Show. But you know, then eventually Big Show gave him the he knocked him out, and then just stood around for a while. He just stood in the ring for a while. Kofi was being checked on by the ref. Show just jog jacked with the fans, and then he just slowly but surely left. He just slowly left the cage, and he won the match and just walked out. So then I think Kofi, they raised the cage. Kofi was still in the ring, and they had the referees or whatever helped them out. So then before we get back to the show, Kurt Hawkins comes out. He's the jobber who's in the ring before the show comes back from commercial. So we get back to the show, and Kurt Hawkins is in the ring, and he jobs to Sin Cara. Not a bad match. It was solid. Sin Cara's pretty good. Sin Cara's good. Hawkins is good. I really think that guys like Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex should be used in a better role than what they are. Than being NXT and superstar regulars. But it was good for it was a good match for what it was. It was good but short. Sin Cara got the win, of course. Then we go on the Titantron. There's a countdown to the Vince Johnny Ace decision for later on or what have you, and which I thought was kind of ridiculous. So then we see Daniel Bryan backstage, and Vince stops by and he wants to wish him luck in his match. I guess the tag match or whatever, And then Daniel says that he said that he didn't think someone like Vince would like someone like him, and he says that Bryan is the personification of, he's saying, he's the great example of not judging a book by its cover. And he said, no one would think of Daniel Bryan as a world champion. And Daniel Bryan mentions that a year ago he was fired from the company and then proved Vince wrong. He came back and became world champion. He said they're both self-made success stories who defied expectations. And then but Vince says, he never finished anything in 18 seconds. So he rubs that into Daniel Bryan losing in WrestleMania and Sheamus. Then 1000th episode of Raw. There was a 1000 on a Raw dressing room door. I don't know what the hell they had back there for. So then we go back and then we get the memorable moment, and it was Dolph Ziggler just talking about the first Raw, which was really good. It was cool seeing Koko will be wearing Yokozuna on the screen, Undertaker, and Bobby the Brain trying to get in, when dressed up as in different get-ups. That was pretty funny. The only thing that I wanted was like that back then there was the old WWF block logo, which I know that being told that as far as I know they can still use, but for some reason they blurred it out because Sean Mooney had it. It was on the microphone Sean Mooney was holding at the time, and for some reason they blurred the logo out. I thought it was just the scratch logo that was the issue, not the old yellow block logo. But anyway, so Dolph Ziggler says that was his favorite moment of Raw, the very first one, which I got to say, I'll go along with that one. Before we get to anything else, later on they re-show Triple H and Booker T talking about their favorite moments. Of course, Triple H is saying the night he returned. In 2002, after his first quad tear, he was saying, he was afraid that he was going to hear crickets chirping when he came out, and it was just like, yeah, right, my ass, he was thinking that, so it was just like, he comes out, they've been promoting it from when he was returning for months. And then I remember they promoted it all night long, playing some god-awful song. Then he came out at the end of the show, and then he says, just in case you forgot, yeah, right, you're talking about the whole night, so how the hell can anyone forget? Then we have Booker T's favorite moment, which was one of the worst Raws ever. Him versus Buff Bagwell when WCW took over. I don't think that can't possibly be Booker T's favorite moment of Raw. Because that was horrible. So anyway, Heath Slater was in the ring, and he was he was in the next match for him versus a main eventer by John Laurinaitis' decision or whatever, And so Heath Slater takes the mic and says, "Why are we celebrating past Raw superstars when you got a current Raw superstar right in front of their faces?" And he says, "You know what time it is? He's the one man in the Southern Rock Man. You know what time it is? My time. It's Slater time." And everyone knew this was coming. What time? It's Vader time. And the place went bonkers. It was, seeing Vader come out was so freaking awesome. I popped for it big time too. It was great, seeing him. Yeah, he squashed Heath Slater, of course. Slater tried to body slam him, fell back, kicked out after, Vader falls on top of him. Slater kicks out at two. And then eventually Vader hits a belly-to-belly suplex. Fans chant Vader bomb. Vader hits it. 1, 2, 3 at the end. It was cool seeing Vader. That was really awesome. I had never seen him live before, so getting to see him was really good. I had heard that he was in the area. I wasn't sure if he was going to be at the show, but when Heath Slater was saying, what time in this thing? It's Slater time and this and that. I was just waiting for Vader's music to hit, and then when he did, the place went nuts. So then afterwards, we had AJ in the back, and she's telling CM Punk, she's like losing it, she's telling CM Punk that she's freaking out because she's getting all worried about having to face Kane and Daniel Bryan. Punk's, Punk says that the two of them can't trust each other, what have you, and he says that they can't stand each other and this and that. And Punk tells AJ to just stay outside, and this is going to be a glorified handicap match. Then AJ kisses Punk, and she walks off the screen. So then another commercial back to the show. AJ and Punk versus Kane and Daniel Bryan. Really weird. Yeah, it was all right, but they did some stuff where like AJ and Kane were in the ring, and they grinned at each other, whatever. AJ just like skips around Kane and she grins at him, and then she jumps onto his arms, hugs him, and then she like plants one on him for a good long bit. And Kane was like pretty much unaffected by it or whatever. And then Kane tagged in Daniel Bryan. He walked out, and then Punk tagged in and he pinned Bryan, and so Punk and AJ win. I don't know what they're doing with AJ. It's like I think she's good at playing the wacky, as playing the crazy chick, as Punk refers to her as. I think I don't know. I mean, originally this whole thing was about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, seeing who the better wrestler is. Then they brought AJ into the mix, which I think is good. I think she's done very well in her role, and her role is playing the wacko. Then they threw Kane in there. I thought that kind of, I don't know. I think having Kane in there kind of weakened it. But I'm guessing in the end, the whole thing, like a No Way Out, the whole thing is going to be, AJ and Daniel Bryan just had the whole thing set up all along. I'm just guessing. So so then afterwards, it's like AJ is still in the ring, smiles, and is all smiles and just lovingly staring at CM Punk. And then they go back to the Tron, and then we have only like 3.5 minutes before Vince makes his decision about what to do with Big Johnny. Okay, so main event part of the show, Vince comes out with the security guys, and he tells Johnny Ace to come. He mentions that he's always had a soft spot in his heart for the state of Connecticut. He says that he lives there, his daughter was born there. He didn't mention that his son-in-law Triple H was born there, but he was. And he was born in Greenwich, and so he says. He's saying, it's like it's poetic justice that as one life starts in Hartford, one is going to professionally end. So then Big Johnny comes out, and he says, it's like, oh yeah, he didn't appreciate what, Vince trucking his scooter off the stage at the top of the show. And he tells Vince, that he doesn't need security, and then, because he won't lay his hands on Vince. Then Vince tells Johnny that the security guys aren't out there for Vince, they're out there for Big Johnny. Because they're going to walk him out of the arena and out of the business. And then Laurinaitis tells Vince not to make a decision that he'll regret. And then he wants to, then Johnny Ace mentions what he's done for the WWE brand since he's become GM, and he says what he's done for Raw and SmackDown, and pretty much with the exception of last night's show, the last few episodes of Raw have really not been that good, and SmackDown has been really like nothing memorable. So. Then they say, he's saying, they need him for when Raw goes to 3 hours. Yeah, because we're going to need another extra hour of him talking about people power. Yeah. So then Vince says, he tells Vince to do what's right for everyone in the WWE universe and everything. And then Vince, the WWE, he should let him continue running things and the people power and all that stuff. And then, I think, I forget what part of the show, Vince said, it's like, oh yeah, people power, those are 2 words that have become synonymous with you. Well, there's 2 words that are synonymous with me, and this and that, and then, he was gonna give Johnny Ace the axe. And then Big Show comes out, and he says that he took, it's like he's giving, And Vince says that he's going to be giving Johnny Ace the job review, whatever. Big Show comes out, tells Vince that he's giving Ace a job review, whatever. He says that Laurinaitis might have made him a few mistakes, but one thing that he's done right is that he gave Laurinaitis gave Big Show the ironclad contract, so now he can say or do whatever he wants. He said Vince could fire him, but he'd have to pay him millions of dollars to sit at home and not do anything. So, and he says, and then Show says, that we all know whose fault this is. He says, it's like every stupid costume over the last 14 years, every commercial movie, everything he's done, being the funny man and this and that. It's like he did everything because that's what Vince wanted him to do. Saying that, he couldn't be a giant because people are afraid of giants. So now you're saying now he can finally be a giant. I mean, it's like, like we haven't seen him as a giant before. We saw him as a giant in WCW, as an ass-kicking guy. I mean, he was the monster heel in WWF when he debuted. When he popped up from under the cage in the Austin Vince match at that pay-per-view. So we've seen him as a dominant monster heel before. He's been world champion before. So it's like, they're acting like that all didn't happen is, kind of stupid. But, so then he tells him that he really is a giant now, and this and that. And he tells him it's this and that, and it's like Cena's the big golden goose and the cash cow, but at No Way Out, the golden goose is going to get his feathers plucked. And then Show was going to say more, and then, and my God, did the place go insane when Cena hit, when Cena's music hit. It was just like unbelievable. Cena just talks. I forget which is off the top of my head, but he says, it's like Show's been blaming. First he blamed Cena, then he blamed the fans, then he blamed Vince, and then he says, it's like the only person he hasn't blamed is Johnny Ace for everything that's been happening. He mentions that it's like Show's comment that he can finally beat a giant, but what happens if he loses at No Way Out? And he's got the ironclad contract, and he's still gonna have to show up and stuff. And Cena was saying, it's like, oh yeah, he's in a match against Big Show where the deck is stacked against him. Big Show's got management behind him, and blah blah blah, and this and that. And so, but then he was saying, like, what are you gonna do? He asked Big Show, what are you gonna do? What's the world's largest athlete gonna do if he loses? He'll be the world's largest disappointment. And he said, and then when Big Show will have to show up and listen to the people, and and listen to me for what he is, and that's a sellout. And then Vince says that he'll be at ringside on Sunday, and if Big Show loses, Johnny Ace will be canned from being GM. So then Show grabs Cena, and then security gets in the way. Show takes them out or what have you. Then Cena hits Show, and then Laurinaitis tries to break it up, whatever. He gets knocked down, and then by mistake, Show was gonna punch Cena, I think, and then Cena ducked, and boom, Vince knocked out cold. Is knocked out cold. So then, and that was the end of the show. The medics checked on Vince, and that was the end of the broadcast part of the show. Then after the show went off the air, they had Vince was still in there selling the knockout punch for Big Show, and then eventually he gets up to he gets the medics and the refs, whatever, help him up to his feet. The fans applaud as he gets carried as they hold Vince out and they carry him up the ramp. Then Cena was still in the ring, and Johnny Ace came out and said, "Wait a minute, we're not done yet. Cena, stay in that ring because you got a handicap match now against Big Show and me." So, and then I didn't even see it, but then I saw on the Tron that David Otunga was also out there, and so then Big Johnny said it's a 3-on-1 handicap match. So we have Cena versus Big Show, Johnny Ace, David Otunga. It was a fun dark match. It was a good dark match. It was main event dark match, I should say. I thought they did a good job here. It was just a typical. Cena of course won. He defied the odds. Big Show was gonna go for the knockout punch on Cena. Cena ducked and wound up KOing Otunga, and then Cena got the pin, and the place went nuts. I mean, every time Cena got the offense in or whatever, the place was they were cheering their freaking heads off. It was crazy. But then and then that ended the show. So, and Cena, that sent the crowd home happy. Having Super Cena win and everything. But overall, it was a good show. I really like being, I like being alive. Maybe I don't know, they're in the area again. I'll get to go to another show. But it was really fun. I liked it, and it was a good. I had a really good time. I enjoyed it. So I guess that'll pretty much do it for me now. Like I say, this was, like I said, this was different than usual. I've went a lot longer than usual since I had a lot of live thoughts to talk about. But it was really good. It was a very fun show. So I'll be back on Friday with a my regular recap video when I talk about Impact. But this was a very fun show. I really enjoyed it. So till then, like I said, you can check me out on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, add me as a contact, comment as you see fit. And you can check out my website, my blog site, tonyviz.blogspot.com, where I recap the shows on there too. I don't know if I'll be doing a live thoughts blog on last night's show, but I did this anyway, so I wanted to do this just to give everybody, let everyone know what it was like to be at the show live. So till that, till Friday, when I'm back with my Impact recap, that'll do for now. So this is Tony Viz the Tone, and I'll talk to you all on Friday. Take care, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed my live recap thoughts. Peace.